Hey everybody. Um, what's up? Welcome to another video. I think it's been some time before I've posted something. Today, um, as you can see by the title, I'm just gonna be talking about um, my life in general, but specifically also about my experience going to the emergency room. Um, so, um, yeah, my life is hard. I'm not gonna lie. I've just been dealing with a lot of fucked up shit lately. But I'll get through it. Um, so, and before this, like my thought was like I needed to rest, but I was just like, that can wait. I'm just gonna do this now. So anyway, so I honestly, um, I've just kind of been like at this point, yeah. I mean, I've shared like really deep personal things online before, and a part of me is like I probably shouldn't share it online because, you know, people can be toxic. Um, but Um, but honestly, at this point, I mean, I'm just gonna be real. Yeah, there's always a risk to anything, but um, I don't know. Um, I mean, given how things have been, it's very unlikely that it will be bad for me to do this. And it's not bad for me to do it. So even if someone is, you know, mean to me or whatever, it's still just not bad for me. So anyway, so I'm just gonna do it. So yeah, so I'm a trauma survivor, and so I've just been dealing with panic attacks and just constant being extremely overwhelmed. I always feel like I'm literally being shot at, like guns are shooting at me all the time. And I'm always just feeling like I'm in danger constantly. I'm constantly in fight or flight mode in my nervous system, and every little sound like sets me off. And it just really sucks that it's like I'm constantly um, it's a physical stuckness in my nervous system. That is why I am always experiencing the trauma inside of me. But honestly, I think things have been helpful, and I think I'm honestly making progress in this healing and freedom journey that I've been in for several years at this point. Um, so anyway, but today's video is going to be specifically about the experience I had, um, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. Today, yeah, because that was, hold up. So Monday, yeah, so it happened on Sunday because that's when I went to a church here in my area, in the area I live in. Um, I think I don't know exactly if it's Pentecostal or a charismatic church, but I just say it'd be one of those. Um, but anyway, it was a spirit-filled church I went to, and I think I had definitely had better experience going to a spirit-filled church than a completely dead like religious church, because I think spirit-filled churches are more familiar with people that have like problems like I do, like just severe fucked up stuff. Um, that's been my experience here in the just always living in like the southern part of the United States. You know, hold on, let me look up something. Actually, hell no, let me get my fucking phone for a second. Uh, yeah, so what is it? Yeah, so fucked up, just so fucked up, just randomly doing Instagram. But okay, Gemini, I really need to not do that because it's not right to use AI, given the shit involved with AI. Okay, so okay, so let me see. Okay, yeah. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I'm not gonna tell you guys which state I live in, but I live in says the Bible Belt is an informal region in the southeastern and south central United States where evangelical, yeah, Protestantism is highly influential. Core states frequently included are Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Arkansas, Louisiana, and parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Yeah, so I've always lived I've actually like moved I've lived in like I'm not gonna tell you where I live now, but I've lived in like a lot of these states. I've like moved around my whole life. But I've always lived in the Bible Belt. And yeah, so socially conservative, yeah, and a lot of like Southern Baptist and Methodist denominations. Yeah, so anyway, I've always like went to a lot of those fucking Baptist and Methodist type churches. Um, yeah, so just like the religious ones, but I never really fit in with those churches. Honestly, yeah, I just never really fit in with those churches at all, because everyone like it's you know it's fucked up really. It really is fucked up because um, the ultimate place is that every Christian should be able to handle anybody. They should be able to meet the person's needs exactly where they are. And if they're not, then it's fucked up. And it was always that. It was always fucked up like that. That I would always go to these churches and people just didn't. It's like I'm speaking a foreign language because they don't understand my background, and they don't understand me. Um, yeah, they just don't get it. They don't understand the things I tell them, and when I start like having panic attacks and stuff, like they just tell me to like, you know, um, like just yeah, basically that they don't know how to handle someone in that situation because they're just like um, just kind of like suck it up, and but that's fucking stupid. Like that's not how to handle someone who's having like a mental breakdown slash panic attack kind of thing. So it's just fucking messed up. It's a fucking disgrace to Jesus. Honestly, it's a disgrace to the church. Well, it's a disgrace to Christ, basically that, and it's a disgrace to the church too, because it's supposed to be. That's not the way things are supposed to be. But anyway, so anyway, that was kind of besides the well, not besides the point. I was just like I said, I'm just here just talk about my life. Um, so anything is fine to say, honestly. But anyway, specifically about the ER experience. Um, um, yeah. So basically, that's what happened. Is I went to the church. Um, it was like in the middle of service, and then um, basically after the service is when I like started to panic, and like it was more than like because sometimes I can like I start to panic and I like speak over my nervous system and I tell my nervous system to calm down and it does. Um, so like I am releasing um, and then it actually calms down when that happens. So but I was just literally so overwhelmed in that moment like I did not have the ability to tell myself or to like make myself calm down in that moment. So I was just freaking out. So or not freaking out, but I was just starting to panic. And apparently, unknowingly to me, and he didn't tell me, but some guy like saw me and he basically called the police. Like I was panicking, so he called the police and he also called like the I don't know the he basically called the police and he called the um yeah, so the EMS, emergency medical services. Yeah, so yeah, so basically he called the police and he called the ambulance crew. So yeah, I guess I understand. I honestly don't actually blame them because like I just came there. Like that was the very first time I ever came to that church. Um, so these people don't know me. They don't know me. They don't know that I'm just panicking and I'm like but I'm fine other than that I'm panicking. So they didn't know that. So like I think um so they didn't know that. So from their perspective, um um it's not necessarily invalid because I guess they didn't Yeah, no, I don't think it necessarily is. Uh, yeah, anyway, but yeah, so they didn't know. So I think this guy thought like he didn't know, and he knew he didn't know, but I guess he was just calling the police because he didn't know me, and he thought that I might like get violent or I might start hurting people or something because I looked like um I don't know. I just looked like really mentally maybe, well, yeah, maybe I mean, I was just panicking, so I was just like afraid, but I think he interpreted that as like, I don't know, for some reason we might need the police. Actually, he didn't say that he was afraid that I might harm anyone. Um, he didn't say that, but so I don't know if that's really, but and he thought that the police needed to be called for some reason. Which yeah, I think it could be speculating. It may have been because he thought I might be like mentally deranged or something like that I might harm someone, which was not true. I was just having a panic attack. I'm not mentally deranged at all like that. But um, yeah. So they called the police, called the ambulance, and in the meantime, though, um, like they were talking to me, like the guy came, and I was like, you know, I just I couldn't even talk. Like I was so the panic inside my nervous system, the pain was so much I could not even speak in that moment. I physically could not move my mouth and speak because of how much tension and just how much like overwhelm in my entire system. I couldn't even speak. Um, so I couldn't speak. Okay, so then I was sitting like in the pew. The guy said, "Okay, let's you can't speak. Well, just follow me. Let's go over here." So I went over. So I followed him, and then he started speaking to me, and I couldn't speak. They were saying stuff, but basically, like suddenly, like a demon, an actual demonic spirit, started to like speak through my vocal cords, and that was really, really, really unpleasant experience. It always just feels so disgusting and so just so nasty just to feel those demonic spirits actually speak through you. It's just really, really, really bad. But basically, the demonic spirit started speaking through my mouth, and it like I was already shaking like from the panic, from the trauma just like washing over me. The guy was like, I mean, the guy didn't know. Like, I've never taken a drug in my life. I've never drinking alcohol. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never done anything like that. But the guy didn't know, so he thought he thought that I had taken something. He thought I like was on drugs or something. He thought that I had taken some kind of drugs. Anyway, but basically, like I was shaking, I was panicking, like I was so overwhelmed, I couldn't even speak. I was just frozen in place. And then suddenly the demon started, like it just suddenly like shot out of my mouth and said like we hate him. It was like to kind of reenact what happened. It was like I was sitting here, I'm like, so anxious, and then the demon just goes like, um, just kind of like, we hate him like that. So yeah, it just said like we hate him, and then it started like I mean, the demon started like saying rude things to the guy. Uh, and the guy was like, in the name of Jesus, get out and stuff. And um, and like the demon was saying, okay, fine, I'm gonna go. But then I think the guy thought that the demon was trying to hide, like trying to trick him, saying like, oh no, like we're not really gonna like just saying he would go so that he'll stop commanding him to go, and that way he can still hide and in me and stay there. Which honestly, the demons are probably still in me right now. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, and then he said like he started talking to the demon like, what is your name? And the demon said through my vocal cords like, I am lust. Um, so he was like, okay, do you want to be? And the guy was asking me like, do you want to be free of this? Do you want to be free? I said, yes, I want to be free. I don't want this anymore. Um, so he's like, commanding me to be free of pornography and stuff because he knew that based off of the demon of lust. And it even called itself sexual harassment as well. And he said, like, no, that's still lust. But so, which like, I doubt there's a demon of sexual harassment in me because I don't have any urges ever to sexually harass anyone. But it said it was sexual harassment. So, but anyway, but I've never sexually harassed anyone, and I never will, because that's not who I am. That's not me. But anyway, so he knew I had been into pornography and stuff. Um, anyway, so anyway, but yeah, yeah. So the demon just growled, and then he even said like, you're going because you've defeated, and he said he even told the demon that was speaking through me like what and it was kind of like they were switching between in that whole conversation. It was like sometimes the demon would start speaking through me, and then I was totally aware of it. I could hear it, um and I knew it was not me. um but then like sometimes the guy, the minister, the church man, he would like sometimes he would be like, all right, now I'm speaking to Jonathan, and then he'd ask me something and I'd answer, and then sometimes he'd say like, okay, now I'm speaking to the demon, and then and then the demon would answer. Um, so anyway, and but he said like, okay, what happened when Jesus died on the cross, when he rose again? What happened in that moment? Like what the victory is already done. So he's like, what happened? And the demon, I heard like I out the demon said out of my vocal cords like, we lost. And he's like, yes, you're right, demon, you did lost, Jesus beat you. But the demon was like, he's like, so what happened, demon? The demon was like, we lost. So anyway, that was just a really intense, really not fun experience. I was just, god, oh, that was just such a horribly traumatic experience. But anyway, now I think I always used to have this sense of paranoia that everyone was watching me. And so the EMT, the EMS crew arrived, and they came up to me. They're like, "Okay, we're gonna check your vitals. We're gonna check your blood pressure, stuff like that." And but that really just made it really worse because the fact that I had like 10 people all just standing around me like watching me, that like freaked me out because I mean that's like confirming the paranoia, like this paranoia of everyone is always watching me. Well, now everyone is actually all watching me. So that fear, that paranoid, like that fear stuck in my nervous system, it's like that is like confirming the fear. And it did. I was really freaked out. Just like the police officer was standing there. I mean, so well, the police officer, when he realized I didn't harm anyone, or I didn't. I didn't do anything wrong, or well, yeah, I didn't harm anyone or anything. The police officer knew I wasn't a issue, so he wasn't like, he just told me, like, the police officer told me, he's like, just don't worry, you're not in trouble. We're just trying to help you. We just came just in case, but you're okay. You're fine. So the police officer was there, and it's not necessarily that I was like afraid of the police officer. Um, it was just like my nervous system was just afraid. So just anyone, like the police officer, the EMS crew. It's not like I was more scared of the police officer than the EMS crew. It's like I was just scared of everyone around me. But so the officer like asked me questions like, did you take any drugs? Have you taken any marijuana? Have you done any of this stuff? And I was like, just answering completely honestly, because I didn't. I was like, no, I didn't do any of that stuff. And but anyway, so it was just really stressful to have all those people around me talking to me, asking me questions. Like, they're all like trying to asking me questions. Um, they're all like trying to ask me questions, trying to like, um, they're all asking me questions, all like, and I'm just like my head is down. Like the whole time, my head was just down. I was just like, oh, I just want to disappear right now. This is so horrible. And so anyway, so and I knew it. I knew I was right the whole time. It was unnecessary. So the EMS crew was basically saying like, okay, we want to put you like we'll put you on the stretcher, and we're gonna take you to the emergency room to check to get a checkup to make sure you know just to check you up to make certain nothing wrong is going on because you look really unwell right now and need help. And that's true. I was really unwell, but uh, the emergency room was completely unnecessary. Um, because again, that happens all the time. That's the way I am every single fucking day. Or well, not every single fucking day, but most like that just happens like every week, like every few days. It's like it's always fucking happening. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. I don't need to go to the emergency room. I'm not unstable. I'm not gonna hurt anyone or harm myself. I'm not. So there's no need to go to the emergency room. Um, but so anyway, yeah, but they didn't know that. Like I said, like she was saying, "Oh, I'm worried you might faint or you might like collapse or something." So they didn't know. I mean, it makes sense from their perspective. Like I knew myself. I knew I wasn't gonna. I knew I was fine. Like I didn't need to go to emergency room, but they didn't know that. So they were saying like, "Come on, please." And I was just such in a overwhelmed, like panicking state. It's like I was not really like I was so weak-willed. It's like I felt my nervous system was like kind of pushing me to submit to them without like making a rational decision from my own mind. Um, so because of that, just because of how much pressure and the weak-willedness, the being weak-willed as I was, I essentially just um, was like, okay, fine. Well, not okay, fine, but I was like, no, no, I really don't need to go this. But they're like, no, no, please, like we really should take you. And I'm like, no, it's really, I don't need to. But they're like, no, we should. And so eventually I just kind of gave in and I was like, okay, fine. Like they're like, okay, we can't take you against your will, you have to agree. But they were kind of like trying to convince me to go. So anyway, so eventually I agreed and they put me on the stretcher and they like started carrying me out and to the ambulance. They loaded me in the back of the ambulance van, truck, whatever. Yeah. Um, Whatever you call it. And yeah, it was just so horrible. It was just so, I'm just so glad it's over. Like, I feel so much better right now. Like, I still feel pain. always. I'm always feeling a little bit of pain, always. But I just feel calm and safer right now, and I just it's better this way. And but honestly, it just made it worse. Like the panicking, the survival mode, like being taken to the nervous system, having these nurses all around me, like it just made it worse as opposed to helping me feel more calm, better. Like it would have been better if I had just refused. But like I said, I wasn't myself, so I didn't even make the decision that was to my own benefit to refuse to go to the emergency room. So I, but you know, to agree, but it really would have been best if I had refused and just been like, no, I'm not going in, just biked home instead. Um, um, but yeah, so I was in the stretcher and I was in like that, the, you know, the EMS like back of the truck, and the nurse, it said like she was a student though. The other nurse told me that she was training, basically like she was working to be an EMS, and she was training, so like she was like probably like about my age. She was like 20 something, or which I'm 20 right now, so but she was there. And like the I heard like the what the hell do you call those things? The radio thing. I can only think in my mind like walkie-talkie, but I know that's just the toy. That's not the real thing. But I can't remember what the fuck the you call the real things. But um, and that like you know mobile radio thing, transmission. I don't know, but the it just like start like it was like made that beeping sound, and and as soon as that happened, I like freaked out. I was like, ugh. Like I just like every single sound, it just freaked me out because my nervous system is so like in survival mode. It's like everything, I just freaking out. And I was like jerking in response to all these like sounds because they sound like gunshots. They sound like gunshots. It sounds like something's coming to kill me whenever that happens. Um, but yeah, so and I was just there, and that like 20 something year old um, you know, EMS person, she was like trying to calm me down. She's like, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." Because I was just freaking out and I was just so terrified and scared. Um, I was like crying because of how much pain I was in. I was crying. She's just like telling me like it's okay, it's okay. Um, yeah. And so they just like asked me like what's going on, and I was just too like overwhelmed. I couldn't really speak, but I just told them like I was tortured for 7 years basically. Um, so that's all they got, but they believed me obviously. I guess the only benefit of that was that at least I was like seen in that moment, because usually I just suffer and I'm completely invisible. Like I'm a man that's literally a living ghost, because no one even knows that I exist. Um, no one even I'm like socially, historically, like completely unknown and invisible human being that nobody knows and sees what I experience every day. So at least in that moment, I was seen. That I guess that's yeah. Um, but yeah, so we finally arrived at the emergency room. They took me out. They put me in. And I was just freaking out because I was like going through the hospital hallway and there are people walking by. I'm just like, oh, this is so horrible. I was just freaking out, like panicking, and it was just the most painful thing ever. That's like hell on earth. Um, and eventually they got me to the thing, and like nurses all around me, like, oh man, that was just so horrible. Oh God, that was just even just remembering it, recounting it, it's just really stressful to think about. Um, it was just a horrible, horrible experience. I was just like moving and I couldn't stay still. Like the nurses were like holding me down because I was just so scared. I was so scared inside. It was a horrible experience, horrible. But I heard the nurse that I told I had been tortured for 7 years. Well, okay, that nurse and the other nurse, the 20. Now there were like a lot of nurses, but there were two nurses. Um, one was like a she was white, and the other one was like a Hispanic girl. Um, but those were the two nurses that were like with me on the drive, like in the same. And anyway, but basically, like I had to get off of the stretcher onto the bed, and I like couldn't like I was just frozen in place. So I like reached out and like grabbed the hand of the Hispanic nurse, and I like she like helped lift me up and helped like put me in the in the bed. And one thing I noticed was on the ride there, like there was a point where it was like all the sounds around me were like freaking out, the fear response, the nervous system response. Like I freaked out. I jerked so hard and one time that it literally that Hispanic girl I was talking about, like it literally made her jump. So like yeah, the actual stress and the fear and the emotions of helplessness and terror I was experiencing like rubbed like, got transmitted onto her and made her jump in that moment too. Um, because I was just so fucking terrified, so fucking scared. Like my life was in, like I'm being taken to the slaughterhouse. Like I'm so fucking in danger right now. I know I'm laughing now, but it's not. I'm just laughing. That's just what I'm feeling, but it's not funny. It was horrible. But anyway, so finally they got me in the bed, and yeah, then I was just kind of, they just left me there for a while, and then eventually one guy came in and he's like, okay, he gave me this thing to like pee in. Um, so now, but he didn't tell me. He's just like, if you need to pee, then pee there. I was like, okay, there are cameras. There are like cameras. There's like cameras in the room. Just like, so, so like someone is, I'm being recorded peeing. Like, they're just like, yeah, it's like there's no way to do it privately. Like my penis is just gonna be there showing, and it's like that was kind of like, I didn't like that. Um, but he didn't tell me like it was a urine sample. But later I figured out that he was trying to take like a urine sample to like test the urine to, I don't know, test if maybe to find out if there's drugs in my system. I don't know. That's speculation. But yeah, because I think they were, yeah, I mean they were they were worried if I had taken drugs. They were asking like, have you taken marijuana? Have you drank? Have you smoked? And it was like, no, none of those things I've ever done in my life, and I never will, because it's really bad for you. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna stupid throw away my life and damage myself with stupid stuff like that. Um, but anyway, so but yeah, eventually like I did need to go to the bathroom really bad, so eventually I just like was like, all right, just to hell with it. Even if someone is literally watching on the camera or whatever, because there's a camera right there in the room, and so I just peed in the thing and shut it in the container. But anyway, it was just, yeah. And then later they like took me into a room to like scan my head. Um, And anyway, so the doctor came in and he was like, okay, like we're gonna give you some medications to calm you down. I was like, no, I refuse. I'm not taking medications because because I don't know what the hell they're fucking I don't know what the hell is they're putting in that medic. All I know is that they're saying we're gonna give you a pill and you're gonna swallow it. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna affect me. Like it could damage me. Like I don't know if that's actually gonna help or if it's gonna be fine or if it might even make things worse. Like I'm not risking that because that stuff can damage me. Because I do not trust the modern healthcare system. Um, I did a study on the Bible, the Book of Revelation. In the Book of Revelation, there's a part where, and I can't remember like a whole lot about it, but all I know is that it says like in the Book of Revelation, it says it was talking about something, and there's just a point where talking to something, it says like by your medication you deceived the nations. So I'm like, and people in America are always taking medications for, whatever all these health conditions that everyone in America has. It's like, you know, what I like millions of dollars are spent just on medications. And so it's like medications it's so huge in America, and but this biblical statement about medications is literally like um I mean that really got me. So I'm like, no, I will not take this stuff because even if this doctor has good intentions, like he probably like he could easily not even know that what he's giving me is damaging me instead of helping me. So I'm just like, I refuse. And I just refused. I refused to take medications. But they did kind of well, not force me, but well, kind of did, yeah. Yeah, they did force me, but they did kind of manage to get medications in me a little bit. Like he put something in my arm and like injected this fluid into me that's supposed to like calm me down. Um, and then he was like putting water into me later. He said just to keep me hydrated. And I was like, well, why can't I just drink water? Like drinking water will keep me hydrated. But I guess speculatively, I don't know. Like, you know, I guess I guess maybe it's that it's better to put fluids into you because in that sense because it just puts water directly into you, where if you drink water it takes more time for the water to like get into your system. And I guess he thought that I needed the water right then, which um, I don't think is true. But anyway, yeah, so I just refused medications. I refused to take any. And like the doctor was trying to convince me. He's like, no, we're going to give you medications. I'm like, no, 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 no. You will not, not a single, I will not. Even if you took, even if they took a pill, I just spit it out. I'm not gonna. I will not take a single medication, and I did. I didn't. My refusal worked successfully. I refused to take medications. Um, so, um, yeah. So anyway, but yeah. So that was kind of the worst of things. Just that point where they were like lifting me into the bed, and I was just like moving around, like so scared, panicking, and like the nurse was like found the prayer cloths I keep around my chest. Um, um, she's like, "What are these? Tell me." And this guy was gonna fucking cut my fucking. I was like, "Hell no! Do not fucking cut that. I need to wear that. I'm gonna wear that later." Um, so anyway, but that was the worst. Like that was the worst, highest moment of panic and stress of just all these nurses around me watching me, putting me like taking off my shirt. Like they took off my shirt, and anyway, that was just horrible. That was the worst part. But after that, that was like the worst of it. And after that, I just kind of like had to just lay in the room for hours, doing nothing. And the guy came in and asked me some questions, and eventually one guy came in. He's like, "All right, so the bill is gonna be like, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to pay the bill with insurance for this visit or something else." I was like, "What? Literally, you guys took me here just to wait. You're just wasting my time. It did no good. It absolutely did not help me and do a single thing. It was just a fucking waste of time that they took me to the emergency room." And he's like, "All right, now you're gonna have to pay for this visit." I'm like, "No, I am not paying. I am not gonna fucking pay for just so you can waste your time." So, and he said that, and he's like, "Okay, so this is the bill, and I'm gonna come back and give you." But he never came back. So I was like, "What? Something went wrong, I guess." So maybe I won't. Maybe they're not gonna charge me. I don't know. All I know is that that's what I said, and later I told my mom about it. She's like, "Yeah, yeah, they're gonna charge," but just because my mom says that doesn't necessarily mean she's right. So I don't know. At the end of the day, all I know is what I know. I don't know if they're gonna charge. I mean, maybe if they do charge, maybe it's the right thing to just pay it, but hopefully I don't have to pay. Hopefully I don't have to pay for that. But yeah, but yeah. So anyway, so eventually, like, I don't have a car, I didn't have a bike, and it's just fucking like, it's just so fucking horrible. Like, my life is so hard. Like, literally everything goes wrong. I'm not saying, I'm not complaining. I'm not trying to just get pity or sympathy from people. Like, I'm just being completely straightly honest about the facts. My life is so fucking hard, and literally everything goes wrong. Like, everything fucking goes wrong. Um, like everything fucking goes wrong. Like, I can go over several examples in the past month of like everything just going wrong, where it's like it literally is just like, um, everything is it's like whatever happens is something that makes it harder for me, or like, you know what I'm trying to do, it like ruins that, or it creates something hard. um like literally everything. I'm not joking. It's just the reality. My life is that hard. So in it, so like I biked to the fucking church. Now, because they fucking took me in the ambulance, now that bike is still like tied up, and because no one else knows the lock to my bike. Now my bike is there. Now I can't even get my bike. So I lost my bike because of the emergency room deal. So now I don't have a bike. Now I have to walk to work, which is going to take a long time, which means I have to get up hours early, um, because I don't have my bike anymore. And not to mention, the whole emergency thing was just hours and hours of wasted time because it did no good. At the end of the day, reflecting, all they did was just they were worried about me, so they took me into the emergency room. Well meaning, but still, at the end of the day, they were just worried. They didn't discover anything about me other than what I told them, and then I just went home, and it didn't aid in healing my nervous system at all. So it was just a complete waste of time, that happened. Yeah. So I didn't have a car. I don't drive, which is obviously due to the fact that I have this PTSD that I'm working through healing. That PTSD has what's been kept me back from, like, getting my driver's license and stuff, where other 20-year-olds my age that do not have this hindrance, they've already gotten their license and stuff because they can actually function in life, but I literally can't function. um so anyway, but yeah, so eventually, like, so he gave me these discharge papers, and I have the discharge papers um, in the other room on my bed, actually. So I'm gonna go over those and look over it and like see what, you know, so I can have a better, complete understanding of like everything that happened at the emergency room. But anyway, yeah, but basically, um, yeah. So eventually, like, now I didn't pay my phone bill. So the guy was telling me like you need to download the Lyft app because since that you don't have any way to get home, we're gonna call a Lyft. Um, so that yeah, that's like the same as an Uber driver basically. But he's like, we're gonna call this guy. He's gonna come and pick you up. But I told him I can't receive messages because he's like, you need your phone so you can receive the message when the Lyft driver gets there, so that you can get in and go. But the thing is I didn't pay my phone bill, so I can't even like use it to message anyone. Like I can't receive messages. Um, so anyway, but anyway, so I went on the phone and I found like the emergency room Wi-Fi. So I used the Wi-Fi. But anyway, so I didn't pay the phone bill. But eventually he's just like he got this woman to like watch for the car so that he could know when it arrived. And I got the address. I had the internet, so I made sure because I actually told the guy a wrong address when he was asking like, okay, where do you live so we can set up a ride situation for you. I told him the wrong address, so I looked on my phone the right address, and I made certain that I had the right address so I could like tell the Lyft driver in the car like if he messed up or if he's going to wrong address, tell him the right address. So I told him that. Well, actually, I told the lady and she changed it, so she already contacted him and he already knew. But um, yeah, yeah. So that's basically it. It kind of ended with the scan that they did. I don't know what they call it. It might have been I can't remember what they call it, but it was some kind of scan they did. Yeah, and then yeah, so I was basically just lying down on the bed in that room the whole time, and sometimes the doctor came in to tell me like try to convince me to get medications, and I kept refusing. Other times he came in and he's like, okay, I can see you're more stable now because I eventually like slept like I slept in the bed because um I was just like so fucking exhausted. Um, so I just kind of like passed out, but it was still like the whole time I was feeling pain, like horrible pain inside me, just because of all the panic I had gone through in the whole like taking me to the nervous system process. That was like the most horrible amount of pain I've ever experienced in my life. Well, not in my life, but in the past months, like that's like the highest level of torture I had gone through. Um, so So I was just still like feeling pain, just kind of residue like left over from that the whole time I was like lying on the in the bed. And yeah, so yeah, I was just feeling pain the whole time. And yeah, but yeah, other than that, yeah, like I said, he gave me like something to sedate me to like calm me down. And then he injected the fluids in me. He even like took like a blood sample from me, and they were also like checking my doing the other thing, and like the thing where they put around your arm and it squeezes it to like I think check your blood pressure if I'm not mistaken. But um anyway, so I was just trapped in that room the whole time. And I told him like, look, I really need to go home because I got work tomorrow. And he's like, sorry, you're gonna have to stay. Like, so anyway, but I slept, so I slept some, and I think sleeping made me feel just slightly better. Felt made me feel better and more calm. Um, but yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. Yeah, so yeah, as far as I remember, that's pretty much Um, and they were like asking me questions about my history because they were trying to see if like I had already been documented in their like system of patients, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, the Lyft driver came. The Lyft driver kind of drove me home, and I was like, man, I'm so tired. I told him, I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm just gonna collapse and go to sleep when I went home, which is exactly what I did. And but at least for a moment in the hospital, I could use the Wi-Fi, and I got an Instagram, and I got a notification. It was like, that was a good notification that sent a wave of pleasure and reward in me. I was like, okay, this is the this isn't even that good. Like just getting that notification, okay, that's not even that good. That's not even good, but that's like the only good thing that happened throughout the whole time. But yeah, so eventually he found the address, and I got my key in me. I got my key on me, so I was able to get home fine. And yeah, so yep, that's pretty much it. I just fell asleep, and I woke up the next morning and went to work, which honestly, like I felt pretty good. I was still feeling like the pain when I woke up in the morning that was left over from that horrible experience you know, but honestly, I did pretty. I felt pretty good. I think I did pretty good, honestly. Yeah, honestly, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good day at work, pretty chill, and I didn't panic that much. And even when I did panic, like I said, I started like commanding my nervous system to be calm and to be healed, and it calmed down, and I like went and took a break, and so it was just it was better, like nothing too intense. So I felt a lot better, and I even actually the same cop, um, the same cop that I met at the church, that came and he was asking me questions. Um, um, that same cop, because I work at a car wash, and I'm always like washing cars. That same cop came in, and so like I had to wash his car. Uh, so I saw the same cop there. I was like, hey man. He's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing better than yesterday. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yep, that's really everything. Trying to think of anything else that happened during my experience at the ER. Not really. Oh yeah, they asked me like in the van, like, how can we help you? And I was like, just massage me. Like, give me a like I am freaking out right now. I was just like constantly jerking around. So I was like, maybe if they just kind of like started like massaging my chest, that could like put me in a sense of somatic safety. But she's like, no, sorry, we can't do that. So I guess she thought it was inappropriate or something. But to be honest, it wouldn't have been, um, thinking about it, because yeah, I was just asking them to like touch my chest and like help me feel safe in that moment. Because I had gotten a massage from someone else before when I was like feeling so unsafe, and it helped me feel safe in that moment. So, but anyway, I'm just still working through that, and yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's my entire that's it. That's my entire experience of going to the emergency room. So, if you've made it to this point, I admire you. Um, you're a unique viewer, and um, most viewers click out of my videos. Most viewers click out of my videos after like 30 seconds. So um, you have a very strong mind. Whoever has made it, you know, you don't have attention span issues. So um, congratulations, you're the only normal person on this planet. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Be certain and to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. All right.